Now therefore be it resolved by Parliament that the Uganda National Institute for Teacher Education be established with the following objects, function, and location as set out in the University and Other Tertiary Institutions Act. Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you. Seconded by Finance, Minister of Finance, Chair of Finance, Government Chief Whip, Frank Solo, Edakasi, Okiror, Alexi, Achan, Maggie, Olanya, Ricky, Okwiri, Katenya, Alayo, Olympian, Obua, not Olympian, he's called Obua. Achon Obua. then Aru, Agriculture, Gweri, Workers, Mbale, Xavier, Okot, Goli. Thank you. Sylvia, yes. Yes, speak to it. Procedure.
Madam Speaker, you allow me, as I raise this point of procedure, to ask the Honorable Ogwang Peter and others to take Parliament serious. The motion that the Honorable Ogwang is moving is a very serious motion, Madam Speaker, that should not even have come as a way that is bringing it. A motion that he comes here and pleads with you that although it's not even on order paper, please help us using your power and put it there. This is a very serious motion. So the procedural issue I'm raising, Madam Speaker, is whether you should not guide the Honorable Ogwang to lay this motion and he's sent to the Committee on Education, and then he's brought back after processing, and we debate it if it is a policy shift, policy change, without having to rush it the way the Honorable Ogwang wants this Parliament to do. That's the procedural issue, Madam Speaker.
Let's first get the justification of why it's bringing the motion. We first understand it. Then we will make a decision from there.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in line with them, first of all, I would like to thank members for the support you've accorded to this very important motion. Number two, I want to address myself to the objects of the motion. The objects of the motion is to provide a niche-based pre-service and in-service teacher education programs for all levels of education. Second thing is, Madam Speaker, is to provide education training and development programs for career development of our teachers in their pathway. The other one is to collaborate with the regulator responsible for teacher education, training, development in implementing continuous professional development programs for teachers, education administrators, and inspectors of school. To provide professional guidance and technical advice to the ministry responsible for education on the development of the teaching profession in Uganda. To collaborate with other institutions and development partners for purpose of teacher education, training, and development. And to promote research, innovation, transformative education through vocationalization of teaching and community engagement in the educational practice. Madam Speaker, these are the main objectives as to why I have come here to seek for your indulgence as Parliament to allow us move this motion. I thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker.
Yes, procedure matter.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. I think considering what the Minister just presented, this is a very, very serious motion. And you know, in the sector of education, which we have had a lot of changes of recent, we don't need to take it very lightly the way he has been presenting. So I want to concur with my colleague that this motion be referred to the Education Committee for serious examination and consultation. So that when it's brought here, we are able to discuss. We are discussing something about education of the country, which is not a simple matter. So I want to, with your guidance, Madam Speaker, would be, you know, wise to advise the move of the motion to refer this motion to the Committee of Education for serious consideration. Thank you very much.
I want to refer you to the Universities and Other Tertiary Institutions Act, Section 82A. 82A1. Establishment of other degree awarding institutions. The Minister may, by a statutory instrument, on the recommendation of the National Council and by resolution of Parliament, establish any other degree awarding institution as a public tertiary institution. The National Council shall, within 30 days of the publication of the statutory instrument in the Gazette, register other degree awarding institutions established under this subsection 1. So Honorable Gwang is moving under that, under section 82A1, where there should be a statutory instrument which is attached. The statutory instrument is attached and it was gazetted. Odul?
Madam Speaker, you're asking Odul who is not interested.
No.
See,
Yes.
my procedure and the request, and I have no problem with the proposals. I am only asking you, Madam Speaker, as the head of this institution, to have this matter processed in the way we've processed other matter, because he is asking us to make a resolution. First, usually matters like this, they will write to you, and that particular motion is on the order paper. This one has come as a way of amendment. We need to internalize and reflect on what he's proposing. I don't want to liquidate tomorrow. I don't know why the minister behaves as if there's something that is chasing him. So can this matter, Madam Speaker, and I seek for your indulgence, be referred to the committee? It is processed and brought back. The roof will not come down.
Madam Speaker, maybe let me beg the indulgence of colleagues. First of all, I want to implore you, honorable colleagues, that this motion is time-bound, because Madam Speaker, can I be protected? Madam Speaker, on the issues which have been raised, I want to confirm that the entire teacher profession was consulted on as far as this specific formation or formulation of the teacher university is concerned. Number two, in line with that,
Madam Speaker, the minister is actually making the situation worse. That for them, they consulted. But having consulted, he doesn't want Parliament even to spend one day consulting. He says, for you pass very quickly, this is time-bound. Having gone through a consultative process, is in order, Madam Speaker, to say that Parliament must not consult, yet they have brought a motion as a result of a consultation that this Parliament must be treated like that. For you, you pass without consultation. For them, they consulted. Is in order?
Depending on what was consulted. Can we first hear from AJ? You want to speak before the AG? AG, let him first speak before you speak.
Madam Speaker.
Don't go far.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I think such a motion requires the input of the Committee of Education. And secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, we have been handling the process of rationalization in this House, where we were saying some institutions, though were created, they may not be very relevant. We are living in a country, Right Honorable Speaker, where all universities are training teachers. We are living in a country, Right Honorable Speaker, where teacher education institutions have been erased, the TTCs. We are living in a situation in a country, Right Honorable Speaker, where any TCs are weakened. Yet those NTCs would have been better in training institutions because they are regionally best. Now, Right Honorable Speaker, we are here with a minister who wants us to process a motion coming as though, I think he wants to say at one point in time, it is Parliament that passed it. Right Honorable Speaker, I think we will lose nothing if this motion that he has presented here goes to the Committee of Education so that there is a report and the Committee of Education pronounces itself because it will consult the other stakeholders. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in our Constitution, Article 90, Parliament forms committees to assist them doing work. And that's a constitutional matter. And Madam Speaker, on Tuesday when we were leaving, the issue which was outstanding, which we should start at 10, was tax what? Bills. It wasn't saying that there was something urgent which was missing. And Madam Speaker, I don't want people to use your office.
Actually, I know they are wasting your time.
No, it doesn't matter, Madam Speaker, this one. I don't want them to use your office. I know Honorable Gwang is my Amoran. But Madam Speaker, it is very dangerous. On a Friday, we have come for another issue. Something is quickly smuggled in so that it is passed immediately. And this is very dangerous for our institution. And this Parliament belongs to all of us. And Madam Speaker, I would want to beg you, despite the fact Honorable Gwang is my own, that he allows to take time, send this, since he has presented it, let it go to the committee, they process the processes, and we all follow it. Because those who never had an opportunity to engage in the public, as he said, will have an opportunity to go to the committee. It is very dangerous, this Parliament as it's seated now, to do what it wants to do. It will be not good for us. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Jonathan?
Right Honorable Speaker.
You are Jonah, not Jonathan.
The Minister just informed Parliament that they carried consultation and they have a report. Madam Speaker, I would request that the Minister shares with us the report as Parliament before we hurry into this motion. Have you carried the due diligence, and as who? Therefore, kindly, Right Honorable Speaker, let the Minister share with us the report as a Parliament before we hurry. Because we are not going to gamble with the future of education of our country, where we just walk from any door and you want this change here. Kindly share with us the report before we make our position.
Honorable members, you gave powers to the minister, and you said the minister shall have a statutory instruments, and this should be brought in forth within 30 days. And it should be supported by a resolution of Parliament. And statutory instrument, you did not lay on table. Go and lay on table.
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay on table the statutory instrument as required by law. Madam Speaker, I beg to lay. Madam Speaker, I will also beg to lay Schedule 1, which talks about the location and the land size of the institute as a requirement of the law. I beg to lay. Madam Speaker, I beg to lay on table Schedule 2, which talks about the vision and the mission of the institute, which is a requirement of the law. I beg to lay. Madam Speaker, I beg to lay Schedule 3 of the modified provision of the act applicable to the institute. I beg to lay. Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Can I hear from AG? AG.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. The concern of Ssemujju and the other members is that this matter should not outrightly be heard by the Committee of the Whole House, and that it should be taken to the Committee of Education. The Committee of the Whole House is Parliament, the House. That's what I mean. Now, Right Honourable Speaker, they are backing their reasoning with the claim that there was no notice. But they also know that the Speaker is the custodian of the rules, and that the requirement for notice can be suspended. It does no harm for this House, Right Honourable Speaker, to consider the motion as presented by Honourable Peter Ogwang, other than taking it to the committee. So my submission is, it breaks no rule and would be within our rights as the House to consider this motion as presented, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Xavier Akelo.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I'm among those who have actually supported the Minister's motion. However, issues of education should not be handled haphazardly. Right Honourable Speaker,
There is an
Right Honourable
order.
Speaker, at one time,
There is an order.
I think, Madam Speaker, MPs need to take Parliament serious. So they bring a motion, you rush into seconding, and now you're saying, you are now saying, I am one of, however.
You people.
Is he in order to support something he doesn't know and second it? Is he in
Honorable
order?
members. Honorable members. Honorable Xavier is very right. He's supporting he's supporting it, but he has issues that he needs to raise. But is this the first motion that you're bringing here and is being passed? No. Is this the first motion? The other day we brought a motion for Auditor General. Did you refer it to the committee? No. No, you first wait, say Ibrahim. May I know you are not going to have your own. So, Honorable Okirod. Xavier.
thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
But as
for
they
your
said,
wise
it is
ruling.
time bound. And you're acting under a law which is existent, which says you must have a gazette, and within 30 days there should be an approval. Huh? The gazette is there. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. On this matter, I will submit as an educationist. And issues of education should not be handled haphazardly. I want to appreciate that the minister took time and consulted those other stakeholders. Like you took time, I think we also need to take time as Parliament through the committee and then at plenary. I want to recall that one time we had Institute of Teacher Education, Chambogo. So we need to know why was it removed and why are we creating a similar institute. And all these can be analyzed through the committee and then finally brought to the House. And because of that, I think it is prudent that the matter be referred to the committee, so that finally we get the findings of the committee and we shall base on that to make a resolution as Parliament. I want to submit, Right Honourable Speaker.
And he was rushing. He was harassing him for nothing. You don't even have it now.
Let me hear from government first. Let me hear from government.
Right Honourable Speaker, I wish to start from the point raised by the Attorney General that what we are doing does not offend any provision of our rules, but I want to add that what we are doing, we are complying with the law as was passed by this Parliament. I am saying this because we established as a Parliament under the Universities and Other Tertiary Institutions Act, the Ugandan National Institute for Teachers Education. And in that law, we empowered the minister to effect that under statutory instrument, which has been laid on the floor. In addition to the statutory instrument, it requires a resolution of Parliament. And in the law is very, very specific on the requirements as laid in Schedule 1, Schedule 2, and Schedule 3 by the minister. So what we are doing in a nutshell is to operationalize the provision of the law, first of all. But secondly, we are also giving an opportunity to UNITE, because UNITE, honorable colleagues, is set to advertise programs for the pioneer intake for academic year 2024-2025. So, Honorable Speaker, In my humble opinion, our hands, honorable colleagues, because the resolution is a resolution of Parliament, is tied by the law. And the law is interpreted as it is, not as it ought to be, not as we wish it to be. The law as read by you, section 82, is very, very clear, Right Honorable Speaker. In the circumstances, I beg to persuade the House that let's comply with the law as it is. I beg to
Honorable
submit.
members, National Theatre is just next. I have given everybody who wants to talk, and do it in a decent way. In a decent way. So when you start doing like that, please. There is a procedural matter.
Right Honorable Speaker.
Why are you laughing at me, Jonah?
Madam Speaker,
No.
I think for all the intentions, good as it is by the minister, he has not done himself justice. First of all, he approached you and said that there was something very urgent, and you exercised your prerogative and said, yes, it is urgent, you bring it. And the minister has not addressed this House on the urgency itself. I think that's why you see a number of members are rising up. I know the government chief whip has attempted to justify it by saying there is an advert going to come, but that's not enough.
And the budgetary
yes. The second point is that when the matter is not sent to the committee and the intention is that this House handles it, then all information that the committee should have received must be brought to this House. For example, the minister would have taken us through all the documents and says the land is located here, because that is what the committee was going to inquire. So that at least you may, I am not saying the House, but at least you give the House a benefit to see whether we can actually approve. So the procedural matter I wanted to raise is that if it pleases you, this minister be given time to make a proper justification, including even going through the documents he has laid here. Yes. He's talking about the acreage of land is here. This is so that at the end, the House may actually proceed and say we can entertain it, since now we have all the information provided.
Yes.
So.
Obua and Jonah. What Honorable Jonah says, like now when you look at Schedule 1, you look at location and land size of the institute, and the institute here you have Kavale, located at the land comprised in that the size. You have Kaliro located at that place. You have Mubende, you have Muni, you have Unyama, and those kind of things. And the issue of why the agency, the budgetary aspect, the advertisement, and if you don't have the documents, I can give you mine and you read from mine.
I thank you so
now
much.
Let's first answer one thing at a go.
Madam
Honorable members, Ibrahim, like you are the one who asked about that issue, and we are saying we are answering what you asked for. No, I've not read everything. Why are you talking about Kasese? I have not read for you everything.
Madam Speaker, first of all, I would like to implore members to say the following in line with the motion I moved here earlier on. First of all, I did give a justification in line with our rules of procedure. Number two, I want to address myself to the motion in terms of the functions of the institute.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, one of the members who seconded this motion has withdrawn.
Which one?
the Honorable Choma. He has withdrawn. And he gave reasons, very serious reasons.
Honorable members, as Honorable Nathan said, we have issues to handle. And we are running out of time. And I am telling you, we are acting within the law. The law says a minister shall, not may. The minister shall, and there will be a motion by a resolution by motion of Parliament. And this is a resolution that has been brought. Why are you disturbing the young man? Okay, Samuel. I mean, okay, Council.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think, honorable colleagues, I want to appreciate the concerns that we have. What we have before us is an act of Parliament. We have raised arguments of rationalization, some of this, why are we rationalizing, why are we doing this? This is not one such legislation that is a subject of rationalization. So we have an act of Parliament that in section 82A, is 82A, yes, 1 and 2, is quite so elaborate. There are 3 conditionalities that should be met. 1, statutory instrument. 2, the recommendation. 3, the resolution of Parliament. Now the 2 have been satisfied. There's a statutory instrument, there's a recommendation from the council. Now what is left is for us to have this resolution. Now if you read 82A and you go to 2, that's where my brother Peter gets in a bit of, already there's a time in the Gazette which is running. There are budgetary issues. Maybe what the minister ought to inform the House with certainty and clarity is that how much time do we have? Because that is the time bound that the minister is talking about. After gazetting, how much time do we have? Can we be able to consider that? The arguments we're raising should entirely be to say, are we moving within the confines of the law? If the motion has been brought and it is in consonant with the rules of procedure of Parliament, I find no illegality in the motion. There's no illegality.
Honorable members, what Council has said is exactly what the law requires of the ministry. I put a question that the motion for a resolution of Parliament to establish Uganda National Institute of Teacher Education be adopted by this House. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it. Next.
Bill second reading, the Value Added Tax Amendment Bill 2024.
Honorable Minister, can you move a motion? Nathan, Honorable Nathan, can you sit here?
Madam Speaker.
Honorable Ssemujju.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move a motion that the Value Added Tax Amendment Bill 2024.
Honorable members, we on VAT. Yes.
Right Honorable Speaker, I know we are now moving to the tax bills.
Honorable members, free sitting.
It's not in the law.
Honorable members, free sitting.
Madam Speaker, Even free seating requires that Madam, you call for the suspension of a particular rule that establishes sides in this parliament. And under another rule,
And I thought Oduro was...
MPs are stopped from walking around like they are herding cattle.
I thought Nathan, Jonathan was raising something.
This particular minister, junior minister of education, he jumped from his chair. He almost knocked me here. I don't know what he wants from our side. Is he in order?
You know why I like, at times I like this young man of Jonah, the neighbor. He talks very serious issues. He does not involve in those.
Right, Honourable Speaker, thank you very much. And you have rightly observed I raise serious matters. Now the serious matter I want to raise is that now we are going to process the tax bills. And I'm going to be here, and I know many colleagues will be here. But reading from the previous item we have handled, I wanted an assurance from you, Madam Speaker, that you are going to give us time, and when you put the question will be a vote by this House and not the vote by the presiding officer. So that is the big motivation that makes me sit in this House.
This one was by the House.
And it's a very I also sit in the House, and I know the urgency, but at that time, we wanted details. Now, when we come to...
Jonathan, I want to tell you one thing. It is not our interest to hurt Ugandans, especially when it comes on taxation. And that's why the other time we're telling the minister, and I'm happy the minister we have is a minister who is a member of parliament. We have so many people looking at us outside there. When you start taxing my people who use kerosene, when you have failed to take electricity in my village, then will I come back? So maybe I'm more concerned than you are, because my people don't have electricity in my village. They cannot even afford solars. So issues, these ones, even if we are going to handle one today, one the next day, we'll do it.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. That is the assurance that I really wanted, so that when we vote on a particular clause of these tax bills, the vote actually reflects the debate in Parliament, the spirit in Parliament, and what the members of Parliament. And if I may plead, in this case, Madam Speaker, I wanted to persuade you
Let me tell you
that we can even vote by other means provided.
Let me tell you
our rules of procedure.
Let me tell you, even when the committee, when people wanted to smuggle in more taxes here, the minister refused. The minister says we shall not make people suffer. Let the minister first move a motion, and we reach that level. Minister, you move a motion. Huh?
The last one, before we go on the tax bills, one of the proposals, which is the tax, the increase in the price of fuel, before the minister could address us, when the bill was laid here, all the pump prices at the fuel stations went by 300 shillings before even Parliament has approved. Would the government first address us on that matter? That even before the Parliament has already pronounced itself, the pump prices are already up by 300 or 400. Have they started?
Are we proceeding right? For the honourable member to anticipate.
I am on procedure.
He's on procedure. Honourable Minister will address the House. He says that there is he also asks on procedure.
Madam Speaker.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, can we cross when we get there?
No, but he's raising something.
No, but he's anticipating.
But that is outside. We did not pronounce ourselves as Parliament on those taxes. Now, those who are caught culpable should be brought to book.
I thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I think Parliament had not envisaged a situation where me as a member of Parliament, I would debate with the Speaker. The questions I ask is for the executive. I just implore you to pass it to them. Let them answer.
No,
this
what
is
I
not
am
for
saying,
you.
what I'm also telling him that we did not pronounce ourselves as Parliament. What Honorable Duri is saying, that these people increased fuel by how much? You know, they started speculating.
Madam Speaker, we run an open economy where prices are determined by forces of demand and supply. Government has no role in determining pump price.
Yes, Hajat. Then.
Thank you so much.
But that is not good. That is not good.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you so much, Right.
You know, members, these tax bills is another procedure for us to close those gaps. Once we pronounce ourselves today that we don't want taxes on kerosene, then there is no way we should be able to see somebody charging on kerosene. So the minister, let's finish on this, and our position will be very clear. You cannot increase fuel when we have not passed a bill here.
Speaker, you gave me to raise a procedural matter.
Right, Honorable, I have just one point, and without disrespecting
Speaker,
my
is
colleague.
it procedure right that I'm pushed off the microphone? Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. With due respect to the senior members of Parliament, the procedural issue I raise is to seek your guidance on how to debate. The previous discussion...
Honourable members, front desk, please listen to.
Yes, I'm seeking your guidance on debate in the House. The matter that we just concluded was concluded only on preliminary discussions, because we hadn't gone into the real gist of the matter, whether or not, but we made a conclusion. And on Tuesday, I recall, Right Honourable Speaker, when yes, I'm seeking guidance on debate. On Tuesday, when we were discussing on a loan here, there was a debate whether would wait for the committee to bring us a report or not. And that debate carried on, and after that, a question was put on the substantive matter and not on the preliminary discussion. So what is coming up, Right Honourable Speaker, and I seriously seek your guidance, even when Honourable Musas is trying to disturb the chair. Right Honourable Speaker, the guidance I'm speaking from your chair, whether preliminary questions can be enough to determine a matter on the floor. The two previous issues have been, this question was put only after discussion of preliminary question, whether the matter should be sent in a committee or not. And I recall when the Attorney General gave us guidance here, what he said that the import of the matter in the law on loans is to give members of Parliament a say on whether the loan should take place or not. But even before we spoke about it, a question was put. So, Right Honourable Speaker, may I seek guidance from you whether preliminary discussions shall be enough for the chair to put a question to decide on the real matter, or whether members of Parliament will have considered themselves, have pronounced themselves on those particular issues, or even whether on the matter we just concluded, people spoke on whether we needed the institute or not, even whether on the law, we spoke whether we needed the loan or not, because the only debate we had here was the debate on preliminary questions. I beg your guidance.
Can you bring your motion?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues. I beg to move a motion.
You know, Jonathan has brought a very serious thing, that we must exhaustively look at all these laws. Give it time. Nathan, we must look at these laws. Let the minister move the law. When we move the law, I know you as one of...
you see, I'm one of those who deal in fear. And I want us to be careful.
You're still on fear.
Yeah, because it's one of the things Jonathan raised. And it needed to be, they're about to kill my brother Musasizi, that he has already imposed a what? A tax. Madam Speaker, I think when you're looking at taxation...
and we're starting with the fuel.
No.
So let's first go to the law on fuel. Let's first start with that.
No, we're losing a point.
You people, you're debating what has not been presented. No. You're debating.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I remember when we were here discussing the matter of traders, and I would like to borrow Honorable Gwang. I remember having listened to your motion very well. So please lend us your ears now that you're looking for money to operationalize your issue. Honorable members.
Honorable members, the issue, and Honorable Musasi knows this, the issue of fuel. Because it's not only people who can afford fuel that are going to buy fuel. What about the local person who will board a taxi? Those local people. It increases the cost of goods and services.
Right Honorable Speaker.
You get it, eh?
Right Honorable Speaker, before you preempt it, the issue, I don't know what order you want to bring, but let's just proceed, because I'll also rise up and say order and order continuously. Right Honorable Speaker, the matter of
but
taxation.
You people, you're making this house unruly.
Right Honorable Speaker, on the matter of taxation. Yes, you restrained me when she was...
Can you
of taxation, I want to hold... Yes.
Honorable members. Medi, first seat.
You can't...
Medi. Which man? What has he done? What has he done?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Before you hear from me, you cannot presume what I'm going to say. We presented, the government presented the framework papers and the ministerial policy statements. You had chorus by chorus from every minister saying, my department needs more funding. The Honorable Minister of Finance intends to bring sources of raising revenue. All right? Therefore, what Honorable Oduru is saying is that for any law that is being presented is to cure something. If we say we are removing this, how do we broaden the tax base? That is the most important thing we are talking about when we are talking about milking of the traders. Yes, I'm telling you, because at the end of the day, we'll walk back to this house when a particular source of people is the one being squeezed if we do not devise solutions from here.
There is Ozima. Honorable members, we are debating in anticipation. Can you move? Okay, can I ask a question? Do we need to pass tax bills? Yes or no? No. Do we need tax bills?
Madam Speaker.
Now, how do you debate before it is moved? How do you debate before it is moved?
Committee on Finance. All the issues that colleagues are raising are part of the bills.
Exactly now.
I don't know what sort of parliament are we going to be. All the issues on fuel and everything are in the bill. Why don't we allow the minister to move the motions and then we deal with the bills themselves?
Are you kill up for Ssemujju for the first time?
Madam Speaker, when you said, do we need to pass the bills?
No.
This is small one, small one.
No.
Just listen to.
It is not passing the bill. Nathan, sit. Honorable Nathan Nganda of Budadiri, chairman of Bugizo Cooperative. Can you move? Nathan, just sit. The young girl is... the law is there. That's what I was asking.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move a motion that the value-added tax amendment bill 2024 be read for the second time. I beg to move.
Seconded. It is seconded by Connie, Susan, Maggie, Koluo, Jane, Agriculture, Nancy, Afande Alayo, Obua, Achon Obua, Katesh, AG, Ogwang, Amos, Honorable Bahati, Government Chief Whip, and all the NRM sites. Speak to your bill.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues. The bill is intended to amend the value-added tax cap 349 to classify the supply of goods or services by an employer to an employee at no consideration as a taxable supply, to increase the threshold for the offset in case of the overpaid tax from 5 million shillings to 10 million shillings, to amend the first schedule to include the African Reinsurance Corporation, International Regulatory Board of the East African Power Pool, and Islamic Cooperation for development of the private sector as listed institutions. And lastly, to amend the second schedule on exempt supplies for purposes of reinforcing the VAT exemption regime and other related matters. I submit, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Chair of the committee. Does it have a minority?
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, the bill on value added tax amendment bill 2024 was at the 18th sitting of the third meeting of the third session of the 11th Parliament of Uganda. That meeting held on Thursday, 28th March 2024, presented for the first reading and referred to the Committee on Finance, Planning and Economic Development for further scrutiny. And I would like to report that the committee handled the bill and hereby reports. I'd like also to report that this bill has a minority report I note a report from one member, the Honorable Ssemujju Nganda Ibrahim, and I hope he's given an opportunity. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues.
No.
I thought yours was an income tax.
Chair, if he's saying it, I also attached a minority. Yes. If there are two different ones, there's a minority.
You attached it in the committee?
On clause 10.
Yes, I beg your pardon. Yes, clause 10. I thought my brother had submitted one, but I later found out. Yes, those two were received by the committee, but I would like to submit, Right Honorable Speaker, the proceedings, information that were given by the entities and people that we interacted with, and the minutes thereof. Allow me to lay even the original bills the original reports, I beg your pardon. I beg to lay, Right Honorable Speaker. And allow me to go straight to the report of the committee. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee considered the bill through consultation with different stakeholders and hereby reports the object of the bill. The object of this bill is to amend the Value Added Tax Act, CAP 349, herein referred to as the Act, to expand the definition of the electronic services, to provide for a limit on input on tax to activities related to output tax being accounted for, and to disallow input tax credit to a registered foreign supplier, to provide for the declaration of value-added tax on imported services by large unregistered persons and unregistered government entities, to provide for ZIPRI, PTA Reinsurance Company, as a listed institution and for related matters. Methodology: the committee held meetings and received memoranda from the following: the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, the Attorney General, Uganda Revenue Authority, the Uganda Law Society, Southern and Eastern African Trade Information and Negotiations Institution, Siatini Uganda, the Private Sector Foundation Uganda, Uganda Manufacturers Association, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and all the communications were attached in what I've laid, Right Honorable Speaker. Observations and recommendations of the committee. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, the committee made the following observations and recommendations based on the minister's proposals and the stakeholders' views. General observations and recommendations. Revenue and certificates of financial implication. Section 76, subsection 2 of the Public Finance Management Act 2015 requires a certificate of financial implication of a given bill should be indicated or should indicate the estimate of revenue expenditure over a period of not less than 2 years after coming in effect. The committee noted that the certificate of financial implication issued for the bill was inadequate in as far as detailing the estimates of revenue for each of the next 2 financial years. Generation of tax proposals. While the committee received briefs on the proposed tax amendments in the bill, there were no research reports available to the committee. The committee received briefs, and the briefs do not highlight the cost of implication, the yield in terms of revenue, and the general impact on the economy. The committee also noted with concern, as reported in the Domestic Revenue Mobilization Strategy Annual Monitoring Plan for 2022-23, that A, majority of the tax laws amendments are not informed by tax-related analytical briefs, and B, weak partnerships between the Tax Policy Department and the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, and URA, which this undermines evidence-based tax development mechanisms. The committee further notes that the Ministry responsible for Finance failed to adhere to the previous recommendations of Parliament while considering bills for 2023-24, that every bill should be accompanied by a standalone evaluation or regulatory impact assessment. And C, stability of the tax regime. The committee observed that the frequent amendments of tax laws has caused challenges on both the taxpayer and the Uganda Revenue Authority while administering the taxes. The committee attributed this to the absence of a comprehensive tax policy. And therefore, we recommend that the Ministry of Finance establishes a comprehensive taxation policy to address, among others, the stability of the tax regimes. We also note that there was silence on the new international tax measures. The committee observed that whereas the minister presented new tax policy measures in 2024 tax bills, with the exception of the levy on petroleum products, there was a notable absence of measures covering the international trade taxes. At the same time, the projected tax collections under international taxes was projected to decline slightly on a year-on-year basis. The committee further established the tax policy on international trade is agreed jointly by the Council of East African Community Ministers responsible for finance. Accordingly, Parliament is never given its constitutional duty to scrutinize tax policies under this category. Recommendation. The committee therefore recommends that the minister should always report to Parliament at the earliest opportunity after the meeting of the ESC finance ministers in order to afford this House an opportunity for an input into all the new tax measures, Right Honourable Speaker. Clause 2 and 4. Amendment of Section 5 and 10 of the Principal Act. Section 5 of the Act provides for persons who are liable to pay tax, and these include this case of a taxable person, the person making the supply in the case of an input of goods, the importer, and in case of a supply of imported services other than imported services, the person receiving the supply.
We need you in. And whips. And Ugandans out there. This is the most important legislation that we are doing. If people are charged the high taxes, it's because you've not been here to represent your people. So when people stay out there and leave few people to be here, then the mistake is not on anybody, it is on your people that you voted in. Then afterwards you start blaming URA, who is just executing what has been passed here. So all the whips, you need to have your members in the House. This is a very important sitting.
Right Honourable Speaker, Section 10 of the Act provides for supply of goods by auction and was amended in 2023 to treat a supply of goods made by the auctioneer as a supply in the course of auctioning goods. The committee therefore noted that the proposed amendment is intended to clarify that the recipient of the proceeds of the auctioned goods is responsible for accounting for VAT on the sale of goods under Section 5. The committee further noted that the amendment of Section 5 and 10 of the Principal Act is intended to clarify that where a debtor's property is disposed of through a sale, then the supply is treated as made by the debtor and not the auctioneer/creditor. Further, the auctioneer/creditor is not entitled to a credit for any input tax incurred against the output tax and shall be liable to pay the output tax payable on the supply. And therefore, the committee recommends, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, that the proposal be maintained in the bill since it provides clarity and eliminates ambiguity in the treatment of the auctioned goods. Clause 3, amendment of Section 7 of the Principal Act. Clause 3 proposes to amend Section 7 of the Principal Act in subsection 4A by repealing paragraph C. Section 74AC of the Principal Act states that a person supplying goods or services for consideration as part of his or her business activities, but who is not required to, by subsection 1 or 5, to supply for registration, may apply to the Commissioner General to be registered in accordance with Section 8. The committee observed that Section 74AC of the VAT Act allows persons engaged in commercial farming to register for VAT despite the fact that their supplies are exempt from VAT. They are therefore allowed to claim input VAT without charging output VAT on their supplies.